I'm Scott St Aubin. I'm with the California Army National Guard. I'm a pilot. I fly medevac Black Hawk helicopters. Recently, I served a tour in Afghanistan as an aeromedical evacuation pilot. My assignment was with a small medevac platoon based out of a place called Jalalabad. We had just completed our 48-hour tour up at Bostic, and it was pre-dawn, probably 4:35 a.m. We had gotten up and linked up with an Apache gunship escort to return to Jalalabad. About halfway back, we started hearing some satellite communication chatter about a platoon that was off of one of these small valleys that had become embattled and snared in a big fight with Taliban up in that area. And we learned that there were some injuries and that they were at that point considering dropping what's called a 9-line, which is a medevac request for us to go get them. And generally this medevac request would go through the proper channels back to Jalalabad and they would launch a crew. However, since we were in the area, we called over the SATCOM to the rear back in Jalalabad and advised them that we were, just a few minutes flight from where this was going on, and that we would go ahead and take the tasking if that was what they would support. And they went on ahead and assigned us to that. When we kind of got in the vicinity of the Pesh Valley, there were some small OH-58 helicopters providing close air support for this embattled platoon. And we linked up with that element. Essentially, we're an unarmed helicopter due to Geneva Convention restrictions. And so if we're going into anywhere that's considered high risk or there's shooting going on in the area, we have to go in with some sort of armed escort. And we learned that they had one patient that was critical, essentially meaning if we didn't go get that individual then and there, that person would expire. And so as a crew, we just decided, we're going. And so we contacted the OH-58 gunships and explained to them, we have decided to effect this rescue now. We don't want this soldier to perish. This platoon was quite a ways up this draw. There was no way for anybody to get up there with trucks or ground troops or any of that kind of support. And there's really nowhere to land. And the only way that we can effect this rescue is by combat hoist, which is essentially bringing the helicopter to a stable hover, lowering our medic down into the position of the embattled platoon, and having him triage or assess the situation, prepare the patient to be hoisted out, hoist the patient out and get out of the area, all in the heat of battle, trying desperately not to be shot down. As we're approaching the scene, we begin lowering our medic down the hoist as we approach. And our hope is that as we actually come to a hover over the top of the injured, our medic is very close to the ground, so we don't spend a lot of time hovering in a vulnerable position. About halfway through the hoist, before he was able to get completely on the ground, and enemy gunfire started striking the terrain right outside of our rotor system. And we were in a position where there was really nowhere to go. And then we had our medic on the line as well. And we were just hoping not to get hit and relying on the survivability of the aircraft and the armament in order to essentially get our medic safely on the ground and get out of there. We had to fly in and back out to leave because of the restriction of the terrain. Ultimately, we were able to get the medic on the ground, and we backed out and flew away from the scene. Our medic prepared the patient for pickup. At that time, the medic called up and indicated that the patient was literally on the verge of expiring and told us he was going to stay with the platoon and that we needed to go ahead and get him to the field hospital and not wait to extract the medic. We left the scene. We flew approximately 5 minutes away to a field hospital, dropped him off, took on a little bit of fuel, returned to the scene. When we came back out of the field hospital and got back in touch with our medic, we learned that 2 others had been injured by gunshot wounds. They weren't necessarily life-threatening, but they were pretty bad. So we just decided we're going to go ahead and continue. So we went back in and extracted 2 more wounded soldiers out of that site. We went ahead and pulled off the scene because it was really really hot there and we couldn't continue to hover. As we went back out, our medic got in touch with us and indicated that the troops on the ground were running low on ammunition and most of them were dehydrated and out of water. So we made a quick trip to a local operating base and picked up some ammunition and water. Threw it in a body bag, it's a good delivery system. Went back up, established another hover, threw the water and ammunition out to them. Again, automatic gunfire hitting the terrain outside of the helicopter. We started trying to coordinate to pick our medic up, and he indicated that there were 2 additional individuals, one that was a heat casualty, another that was injured, that he wanted to go ahead and pull out before he came out. And so we made another trip in and pulled those guys out, and then went out, regrouped, came back in and picked our medic up. So we made a total of 6 trips in there, including dropping off our medic and picking him up. Pulled 5 total out. All of them were safely delivered to the field hospital. All of them survived. And remarkably and miraculously, we took absolutely no battle damage in this entire event. I have no earthly idea how that's possible. Not to strike a hovering Black Hawk that's just sitting there. This is a very large helicopter. It's not small like a, like a highway patrol helicopter. This is a very large helicopter. It doesn't seem like it'd be very hard to hit, but remarkably we were able to do that and get everybody out of there safely. And as a result of us being able to pull all of the wounded out, it left that platoon able to maneuver without any liabilities, and they were able to withdraw safely and return to their operating base without any additional injured. To some degree, I'm a little embarrassed to receive this award with all of the things that have happened, especially, we recently had a local Napa soldier laid to rest here, and it's really the people that we weren't able to save, the people we weren't able to bring home that are the real heroes here.